everyone to Open Net Week 5. I am Flips, and I'm here with Fresh Mick 5-0-5 and Oddfellow for this week's extravaganza. Today, we will be reviewing Week 3's matches, talk about some amazing players on stream, and bring in some league operation members to give us some input on the FL speed check and the ELO versus MMR. So let's jump right into it. So for Week 3 results and review, Oddfellow.
So, getting started off with the Week 4, Match 3, since apparently that's how we're doing this, results and reviews. We each kind of picked a couple of games in each of the leagues. We're just going to go over them real quick, and then we'll start getting into the rest of it. So, we are going to go ahead and start off with Foundation League. The two matches that we're going to be going over are the Lightning versus the Blizzard in 3s, and the Hurricanes and the Eclipse in 2s. Reason that these two matches kind of stood out, both of them were 5-0s. The 3s match going in favor of the Lightning, and the 2s match going in favor of the Hurricane. Now, what's interesting for me about this is that when you go and actually look at the stats for this and look at the players that played, the Hurricanes played Sneak and Nim, the Eclipse played Keeley and Brambino. In terms of salaries, it was actually pretty even. The Hurricanes playing a 9-5 and a 10, the Eclipse playing a 9-5 and an 8. So not like a huge salary difference like you can sometimes see in FL, but the Hurricanes still easily able to come away with that one with the 5-0. Now the Lightning and the Blizzard, I think I got my names mixed up for a second there, but we're going with it anyways. This one was a little bit more lopsided in terms of salaries. The Lightning playing Zaz at a 9-5. Rutabaga. Gotcha. Sorry about that, buddy. Rutabaga at a 10, Osiris at an 8 against the Blizzards fielding Pharaohs at an 8-5, Scruffy Lovo at a 5-5, and Sonic Chief at a 9-5. Now, that is a little bit closer to some of the salary difference you can see in FL, so not overly surprising to see the Lightning take that at a 5-0, but that being said, Scruffy did still have a very good performance for his salary in that match. Ended up with an MVPR of 1.88, 3 goals scored, 1 assist, 5 saves, 8 shots. So definitely didn't just sit around. Definitely put in the work for that one. So
absolutely
things for them to work on, and all that kind of thing. So that's the two matches for FL. So we're going to move right along to AL.
Okay, let me get this off my chest. I talked a big game against Royalty, and I'm going to give him credit. He absolutely mopped the floor with me. He got a lot better in the time that I didn't play with him. I'll just say that, and that's all I'm going to say. Anyways, but enough about me and my team. There's two teams this week that I really want to talk about because I've been watching them to see how they did this season. Let's talk about the Foxes, who retained their entire roster from Season 13 going into Season 14 and are absolutely dominating. The Foxes right now are at the top of the standings. They're absolutely dominating. They are 12-3 in threes with a 23 goal differential. For those of you that don't know what that stat means, that means they've scored 23 more goals than they have conceded. And that's just mind-boggling for an 80% win percentage. It's massive. They are absolutely out here steamrolling teams. So if you play the Foxes this season or you play them next week, you better throw your best foot forward because they are absolutely coming for you, and they are not laying anything to hide, and they're not holding back at all. Second of all, let's talk about those Ducks. The Ducks this week absolutely killed it, and I'm going to have to try and find the report card again because I just scrolled past it. There it is. The Ducks. The Hawks were a team that when I went into the early season, I was like, wow, like the Hawks, I don't know how they do it. Doing like little to no tryouts at all, and then just building absolutely god tier teams every season and always being in like playoff contention and making deep playoff runs. But the Hawks this week, they got it handed to them by the Ducks. Thunderca, Little Wolf, and Aquatic came out in 4-1 to the Hawks this week. And the score lines on some of the games, game 3 was 6-0 and game 4 was 7-0. So like, I don't know what happened, but Aquatic coming out and absolutely showing up and putting numbers. We'll get to him again a little bit later, but I got to give props to the Ducks this week for killing it. And with that, that's all I really have for AL, but everybody did really well this week. There, I looked at a lot of games. It was hard to pick just two that I really wanted to talk about because there were a lot of really good series. The Blizzard and the Lightning, the Flames and the Sharks was a really close series, but everybody played really, really well this week, except for me.
Love to hear it, Fresh. Love to hear it. So, would you like to go on to CL, Fresh?
Oh yeah, I'm doing CL this week, aren't I?
Yes.
So CL again, the same series. We're gonna talk about it because the Ducks, they handed it to them twice. The Ducks beat the Hawks again this week. Now I gotta find that report card too because I lost it because I'm clicking through here. I should have saved them, but I ran out of time before the podcast. The Ducks just absolutely steamrolling this week, coming out strong. They played Corgi and Dubert in the twos match, coming in 4-1. Dubert posting over 5 MVPR, scoring 7 goals on 17 shots. You want to talk about an absolute heavy hitter in CL. Dubert is your man. I believe he was a first-round draft pick, if I remember correctly. I don't off the top of my head, but he's absolutely been a cornerstone for them this season. And then the last but not least, the Outlaws and the Pirates. And give me just a second to find that this week. I'm not going to find it. Flips, help me out here. Where did that report card go? The Outlaws and the Pirates.
Outlaws, Pirates.
Outlaws, Rhinos. That's old. The Outlaws and the Pirates. Either way, the Outlaws and the Pirates played an extremely good series this week. Here it is. They 4-1 the Pirates. The heavy hitter on that team. I don't know if I can pronounce that. FHIUU. Fiu. We'll go with Fiu, and I'll apologize for it later. 5.38 MVPR, 11 goals on 22 shots. That's a 50% shooting percentage in threes, mind you, in threes. And again, a couple of these score lines, they didn't come out super. They were high scoring games. 5-4 in favor of the Outlaws, 6-5 in favor of the Outlaws. The closest game was game 4, and that was 1-0 in favor of the Outlaws. So, I mean, props to the Pirates for keeping it very, very close, even though the score lines were very high. But the Outlaws played exceptionally well this week. Both of these series were needed. And that 4-1 really boosted them up in the standings. It was a really momentum boosting victory for the Outlaws this week. So props to them for finishing that off.
Yeah, absolutely. As I saw, they were both in the lower pack of the leagues, and this 4-1 for both teams brought them up to the middle pack, giving them a better fighting chance to move forward into playoffs in the future. So moving on into ML, I'm going to start off with the Comets 5-0ing the Wizards. The Comets just had a ridiculous game, and specifically DFAT, a 16 sal in ML, got a 5.11 MVPR. And he had a 1/3 of shot percentage, but he made up for it with 13 saves and 5 assists. So he got 5.11. Incredible. They did great against the Wizards. Good job, Comets there. Moving on from that, I also have the Hurricanes to 4-1 the Eclipse. And this one was just an all-out ravishing moment for the Hurricanes. And honestly, a pretty good job by the Eclipse as well. So here we have Mixta, a 17-5, got a 5.93 MVPR. And then his teammate, Squanchy, got a 5.85. Both very high, both very near each other. That means they're working with each other, they're giving each other assists. Their assist-to-goal ratio was about 12-20, so that means 3/5 of the goals were assisted, which is just incredible. Moving on from that, SpongeBob Goober also got a 5.74, so good job, SpongeBob, keeping up, really trying to keep the fight in there. And moving on from ML, we have PL, and PL was just, there were many incredible matches in PL, and I should say incredible players in PL. Starting off with Blizzard versus the Demolition, Blizzard 5-0'd the Demolition, and Alfredo from the Blizzard got a 7.53 MVPR, which is just incredible. 29 shots, scored 13 of them, made 15 saves and 8 assists. That means out of the 10 goals that his teammate scored, he assisted 8 of them. That's incredible. And the same goes for the other side. Cheems, who was playing with him, assisted 7 of the 13 goals. That was just a well-played team. They were on the attack. They have over 50 shots within 5 games. That's just incredible. Moving on from that, now we have a threes game for the Rhinos 5-0ing the Pirates. And this was just an all-out battle from both teams. They were just doing really well. Pandy with a 4.71 in threes. His teammate getting a 4.82 in threes. And then his other teammate getting a 3.31. Those are all very high for a threes match. You don't really see that many high MVPRs in a single series, let alone a league match. In scrims, you might see it every once in a while. In a league match, it's once in a blue moon. Absolutely. Alrighty. So given that, those are our picks for the week 3 results and review. Is Fresh Nod, you guys have anything else to say about that?
I mean, like when you're talking about like the series where 50 shots were taken, you know, that doesn't mean your defense is bad. That just means that offense is cracked. Whatever. What series was that? You said the Comets and Wizards?
No, it was Blizzards versus Demolition and PL.
Blizzard versus Demolition. That just means that the Blizzard offense is absolutely cracked. That is going to be something. So if you play the Blizzard in the coming weeks, it'd probably be a good idea to work on your defensive back row. I mean, that's PL. What am I going to tell them that they don't already know? But it'd probably be a good idea to focus on your defensive back post rotations and your backboard clears. Not give them any opportunities, because I know from watching the Blizzard, the replays from RPL teams, that like the Blizzard love to abuse that backboard and center the ball. And if all of the goals are being assisted like that, the chemistry that the Blizzard has, it just looks to me like it's unmatched in PL. So props to the FM and the Blizzard for building that team that has that kind of level of chemistry.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out about that is that something that you had brought up about the Rhinos Pirates matchup was that the Rhinos getting the 5-0, they're like concrete, written in stone, puts them in first by 2 games, which given the talent level that's in PL and the fact that there's not as many teams, every placement counts. And so having that kind of a dominating lead in the league is huge for them. And if you actually go and look at the standings, not only are they in first place in threes, they're in first place in twos as well. So they have a absolute chokehold on PL right now. So that Rhinos roster is definitely a force to be reckoned with going into the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Rhinos are just on an incredible, what do you call it? Like swift movements, I guess. There's a better word for it that Fresh said earlier. I can't think of it right now. Fresh, what'd you say earlier?
For swift movements?
Like kind of like it's just moving up. Like they're doing better. Momentum. That's the word.
Momentum.
Momentum.
I was so how do you get swift movements out of momentum, Flips?
It's pretty near each other if you think about it. I mean,
energy, force, inertia, vector, like all of those things. But
E equals MC squared.
Okay, bro, you're killing me. Oh no, you know what? I'm not going to school you on physics right now because we don't got time for that, because we got to get on to the top 5 most influential players of week 3.
Absolutely. And let's start with Foundation League. Oddfellow?
So Foundation League is someone after my own heart. He's one of my own special tyrants. That's going to be Spike, coming out of the FL Tyrants. In his previous match, he put up a 4.75 MVPR in his threes match. He has just been absolutely dominating every single match that he's been in. And this isn't coming just from somebody who is a tyrant. I do think that Spike is definitely a player to watch out for in Foundation League going into not just this week, but the rest of the season.
Yes, adding on to that, Oddfellow was not the one who chose Spike here.
Yeah, I didn't.
He was kind of just handed FL. Yeah, that was Fresh over here who chose Spike.
I picked Spike because I watched him go down to FL, and I'm like, you know what? That is not going to end well for whoever he plays. I knew that was going to happen. So when we were talking about top players this week, I went and I looked for the Tyrants and where Spike ended up in his match to see what happened. And yes, chat, we know that Spike is AL now, that he ranked up after that series, but he is still going to be the FL week 3 most influential player in FL, because that is that's the league he played in week 3. Week 4, he won't be. Week 2 or whatever, he won't be. But for week 3, that week that he was in FL, he became the most influential player, and he showed it, and he quickly ranked out that way. So yes, we are fully aware that Spike is now in AL. Welcome back. We missed you, Spike. But for FL in week 3, even though he went down and came back up, he was my pick for the most influential player. Over a 4.75, coming straight down out of AL, just absolutely came in and showed up to play and made an impact on his team, got them a 4-1 win, and then immediately went back to AL. Just absolutely, it's a huge win for the Tyrants because, they got to keep him and they got him back, and the FL team got a little bit of a boost out of it. So props to him for that. I'm going to move right on into AL. And this week, there was one player that stood out to me because I saw him last week and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give him another week and see if he keeps on his pace and see if he keeps doing what he's doing. And I went and checked on him this week to see how he did. Boy, my boy Aquatic. He was FL last season, won the season 13 FL3's championship. Now he's on the Ducks and he's posting over 4 MVPRs in 3s matches. If it was a 2s match and it was over 4, I wouldn't be as impressed as I am with 3s. 3s with 2 more extra players on the field, and the MVPR, kind of gets divided up a little more because you're splitting the playmaking up more, and you don't get as many touches on the ball. But in 3s over a 4, that's really, really good. And he showed up. I forget exactly the stat line that he had, but I think he had 10 goals in 5 games, which is 2 goals a game, and his shooting percentage was over 40%. So that's above average for him. That just makes, to me, that's a standout. I didn't see any other players with close to that MVPR or anything that was remotely close to his or the stat lines that matched his. I personally think that he came out and absolutely won that week for the Ducks. Showed up to play, made an impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Props to Aquatic. Really good job. So I guess I'll jump right into CL. So I want to start off with CL with one of my buddies, Caliber from the Foxes. This man got a 7.17 MVPR in week 3 and 2s. Really good job, Caliber. You're a beast. He just came up from AL in preseason, and he's doing amazing, obviously, in CL. So hella props to you. And from there, I'm going to move on into ML. ML, another amazing MVPR going in from week 3. From the Outlaws, so we have Bladots. I think that's how you say his name. That's how you say his name?
Yeah, Bladat, something like that. It's usually, yeah.
Sounds
Bladat,
great.
Bladat.
Yeah, Bladat.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
Love
you, buddy.
So can you go out here and say that the Outlaws got to catch them all?
I guess they do.
Okay, get him out. Get
all right,
out.
bye, Fresh. You're fired.
Leave.
Listen here. Just because I can't grow facial hair doesn't mean I'm not as cool as you, Oddfellow. Okay.
These Ash Ketchum out here can't grow.
Oh, my soul. That hurt.
Sorry. It's okay. I still love you. Hope you know that.
Love you too.
We're talking about Bladat.
But yeah, Bladat. Sorry about that. He got a 6.51 MVPR in 2s. Really, he did really great. Honestly, hella props to anyone who gets really above a 5. But once you hit like 6.5, then above 7, that is when it gets amazing. Moving on from the 6 and 7s, I just gotta say, shout out to the Hive in PL. They went 9-1 in week 3s in both 2s and 3s. Well, they went 4-1 in 3s and 5-0 in 2s. But I would specifically like to shout out Talo and Algix, their 2 squad. Talo got an 8.6 MVPR, and Algix got a 7.04. Together, that is just incredible. That is an immense amount of MVPR added. And if you play a 3s league, your whole team wouldn't even add up to that MVPR. That's a 15.6 added MVPR together. That is just incredible.
It really is. So, like a 6.51, that's mind blowing. In 2s, your MVP is going to be, like I said, your 2s is going to be a little higher because you get more touches on the ball and you can do more with the ball. But still, even then, it should be around like 4. 4 is about the average of a high MVPR. 6.51, you're absolutely dominating in that series, and it definitely contributed to the Outlaws' victory in week 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you feel about the Hive squad in PL?
Oh, the
Seeing
Hive
MVPRs.
Don't even get me started. The Hive. I don't even know from the report card. I didn't look at the report card. All I've got is our notes. Talo, what are you doing, my boy? 8.6 in Algix, coming in with 7.04 in twos. I don't know what you guys did. I don't know. Like, I'm not familiar with who you played, but I am absolutely terribly terrified for who you guys face next. Those numbers absolutely dominating. The Hurricanes. Oh my goodness. They scored 34 goals in 5 games. The score lines 5-4, 7-2, 2-1. Game 4 does that say 13-1?
Yes. Yes,
Oh
it does.
Yes.
my. I'm not even going to ask what happened. I'm just going to assume that there was a disconnect, a lag, a server reset. Something happened to the Hurricanes that I'm going to attribute to not being their fault, because the Hurricanes, in the most nicest way I could say it, got absolutely steamrolled by the Hive this week. I don't know what happened, but the Hive showed up and they absolutely played at peak of their game. The salary lines
nice way to say that.
Yeah, there's no nice way to say it, but the Hurricanes, you got absolutely dominated in week 3.
I'm staying out of this one because Talo bias, Tyrant, staying out of it. But once in, always in. But just as somebody who enjoys watching Rocket League at that level, like, that is one of the most incredible performances I've ever seen from a team. And the fact that it wasn't just one of them backpacking the whole time, it was both of them that showed up and performed that well. Like, that just shows you how dangerous the Hive are going to be in PL. The Rhinos may be on top of PL right now, but the Hive definitely have the power to make a run for it late in the season.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, the Hive went 9-1 in week 3. And I can only tell that the word of the day, momentum, is going to be coming up in the air for the Hive again.
Momentum. Can we get a momentum in chat? Meme.
Yes, momentum.
But everybody spell it horribly wrong. Spell it with no vowels. Spell it with like 18 too many vowels. Like momentum, wrong. That's going to be our word of the day that is gaining, because week 3 was really about that, coming off of the bye week for Worlds, going into week 3, and then going into a bye week for Labor Day before going into week 4. Like, the momentum really needs to carry, and hopefully we'll see come week 4 in a couple weeks, when the series are played, we'll see whether or not I just looked at chat. Sorry. We'll start to see how some of these teams prevailed over bye weeks, because I can't look at chat right.
That was something that I was wanting us to I realized we kind of glossed over. For those of you who may be confused, on the screen here, it says week 4, but match 3, because we are in the 4th week of technical competition, but only on the 3rd match. Or I guess now we're in the 5th week and the 4th match, because of the bye week from Worlds, in which there was a rather large group of MLE who were able to show up there. I think we have a graphic somewhere for that, if Isaiah's paying attention.
I think it's at the end. We're going to do it at the very end.
We are doing that at the end? Okay, cool. Yes, excellent. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be really cool if you guys haven't seen it. But that just explains why things look the way they do. So going into this week, just so everybody's aware, we're going into week 5, but it's the 4th match on the schedule. So because of the bye week. And then we're immediately having another bye week because Labor Day. Yay,
Labor
USA.
Day. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Gotta love USA. No offense to all the EU people. You EU.
No, we're for the graphic for the Worlds. No, wait.
Yeah, we'll save it till the end.
Yes.
Okay, but flips.
Yes.
We've been talking about this episode for quite some time. We're talking at we put it out in the everybody knows what this week is, and this is a topic that really hasn't been covered in depth publicly since, I believe, before my time, which was the end of season 12. So I think it's a really good topic that we finally bring this up, that we can kind of clarify for everybody here. And everybody here, we're going to be talking about ELO versus MMR. We're going to be talking about why MLE uses a different skill rating system than Rocket League itself does. And we have 2 of a very special guest that volunteered to be here. I don't know why they volunteered.
Me
We
neither.
actually had to coerce them into it. We told them we had free candy. So
They did. They
we
jumped right in
have
the van.
the mod himself, a flaming truck, and the own goal expert Kunix himself.
Oof.
If we can get them on screen now,
Yes,
that would be
please.
absolutely fantastic, and let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Yes.
We'll start with you, Truck.
Hey, I'm Flaming Truck. I'm the Dodgers franchise manager. I've been on the stats team for about a year and a half now and working on ELO for a little over a year of that.
Awesome. And then Kunix, the man himself. The man with more green in his background than an actual green screen.
True. True. Yeah, I'm Kunis. I've been the franchise manager for the Spectre since season 10. It's been a while. And I have been a member of league operations since midway through season 12. And also been heavily a part of the ELO team as well before season 12 started.
Awesome. Great to hear. So, first off, we want to talk about the FL speed check. Why the threshold was changed from FL to AL, right? So,
What?
from what I read, I heard that manual rankouts requests will only be granted on Mondays after salaries have been run for the day. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah.
Well, that's not
Back to me.
just for so that's not just for FL. That's for every single league for the manual rank out requests. And a big reason for that is we noticed on the ELO team that sometimes people would request rank outs to LO like midway through the week, like like midway on Saturday. But by time Mondays came and salaries run, they probably should not have been able to request that rank out because their salary would have dropped. But we still, as LO, we still honored that request. So that's probably one of the big reasons we changed that to that you can only request it on Mondays after salaries are run.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other thing that we kind of wanted to talk about too was for FL, the taking away of the liberty of no manual rankouts, right? So Foundation League players no longer have the option to message the staff and say, I would like to be moved up a league. I'm the top salary in my league. I've been the top salary in my league for a while. Instead of sitting here grinding scrims and grinding MVPRs, I'd like you to just manually move me from the top of my league to the bottom of the next league, and do that. So
Yeah.
What from you guys, the reasoning for that, also if I don't remember correctly because it was almost a month ago that this happened, but the FL ELO ceiling being raised as well.
Yep. So that's just purely a numbers game. We didn't have as many people in Foundation League as we did in previous seasons. So with people ranking up into Academy League, faster than people are ranking back down into Foundation League, we had to stop the manual rankouts, and then we raised the actual ELO threshold. So it was a little harder. Less people are actually getting up to Academy League from that.
I just saw the stream. All right, I'm fine with it. Let's roll with it. So from my understanding then from that is to keep the Foundation League population as dense as possible while moving forward, because so many players were ranking out and the influx of that level of player was not enough to maintain that many teams in a league, correct?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So I feel that's a good decision because we all love FL. The other night on the mainstream, Foundation League had more viewers in the beginning than one of the I think it was a Champions League match that was next. Like there was like 120 people watching the Foundation League match and then like 80 for the Champions League match. So Foundation League gets a lot of love from the higher leagues, but they just don't have the numbers to maintain as many teams as they do. And I personally would hate to see like an 8-team Foundation League, or even worse, Foundation League disappear altogether, because these players show up, they play in a league, and it is actually really fun to watch because you watch these players develop and you watch them grow and you watch them learn. I've watched a player go from like literally Plat 3 Diamond 1 to Diamond 3 Champ 1 over the course of a season and then be AL. And that, I'm going to be honest, I won't say who they are, but that player has now surpassed me into CL and is now better than I am. So
That's not that hard, though. It's just fresh.
Okay, listen here.
Jeez.
I do not need to be flamed this much. If you flame me anymore, I'm going to be burned. And I have
Alrighty,
two
alright.
modes, Casper and Cherry. There is no in between, okay?
Oh my.
And you know what? Right now, you're shooting for charcoal. So I'm going to need
Oh.
you to take a step back.
I mean, I like
You,
the barbecue, so.
I'm over here trying to just give some love to Foundation League, and Flips is like, nah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make you look bad in front of 100 people.
So
You
you,
know,
right?
you don't need to. I don't think you need to feel bad. When Tater first joined League, I think he was like a low diamond. I was a GC at the time. I did some coaching for him. Now he's got ranked out of PL, and I'm still GC. I've not moved.
Goodness gracious. You want to talk about going from coast to coast, going from FL to PL, and then beyond PL. And now you're to a point where the league says, sorry, you are actually going to be too good to play in this league, and allowing you to play in our league would absolutely bias it entirely in your favor. So you need to go try out for RLCS at this point, or paying leagues or whatever it is at that point.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody have that distance is absolutely incredible. And that's what MLE is, in my opinion, really. It is what it is to me. It's about the growth. It's about watching players achieve their goals, go on to bigger and better things, seeing someone go from this level to this level, and about the friends and rivals and the friendly rivals that you make along the way doing it. It's about the memories. I have more memories. Like if one more time, if I get to CL, right, this season, it's going to be, I'm going to severely miss the memories of the people that I've made in AL and the memories that I've made with some of the CL players that have surpassed me. Doc, Janitor, Caliber, Pander, who's now ML, Doc, who's now ML, Acalia, when I was first here, Sir Lunix, who has since gone and came back. The players that were like absolutely burning me in the beginning of my time, that taught me to be the player that I am now, moving on to the bigger and better things. That is what MLE is all about. So, with that being said,
I think it's time to talk about the big topic of the day.
Yeah, you're the host. You go on and talk about things.
I mean, fine. I guess I'll do the work that I have to.
How about you do your job, Flips?
Sorry. I know. Fresh is bad at Rocket League. I'm bad doing my job. We're all just bad here, apparently. So let's talk about MLE's Area 51, ELO versus MMR. So, a couple questions I have to ask here. The first one I want to start off for you guys is, why the major switch to ELO from MMR? Just why?
So we started looking at changing over from the ELO to MMR system, primarily because with Rocket League having, every time they have a new season, they were slightly adjusting the MMRs for their ranks. And at that time, we were having our leagues were very rank dependent. So at the start of each season, everyone was like, well, maybe I'll stay in this league. Maybe I'll go down to the league because Psyonix is just going to change the MMRs. So that was part of it. And then as soon as free-to-play hit, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a major issue with the API and Rocket League Tracker. And at that point in time, we pretty much could not, we weren't able to track MMRs anymore like we used to be able to. So that was the really big push. All right, tracking MMR clearly is not consistent. So we need to push to make our own ELO system so we don't need to rely on Psyonix and their ranking system.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. So how exactly does ELO work?
So our ELO system in MLE works, pretty similar to any kind of ELO system you'd see in other games or things like that, where basically it's taking, your ELO versus the opposing team, and it's determining, what's the chance that each team wins. So if you are expected to lose and you win a match, you're going to move up more than you would if you were already expected to win. So we have a lot of things that go into ELO. Everyone always talks about win-loss. That's always the big one. other things. Can't really talk about the formula or anything like that. But just know if you're playing well, winning games, and you're going to go up faster than if you're not.
Yeah, awesome. Fresh and Oddfellow, do you guys have any questions to ask them?
When I get a forced rank down versus a rank down message, so what is the difference? Because I know a lot of players will get the message that says you are eligible to go down to the league below you. Means that that generally means, right, that your ELO is at a point where it's lower than, I don't know, statistically a certain margin in your league where you're considered to be of a certain skill level that's acceptable to play in the league below you. So what is the difference between getting a forced rank down and getting a rank down message?
So getting the rank down message is basically you've reached a certain point where we feel you're kind of at the point where you're kind of dipping out of the skill level of league, but we still want to leave it up to you whether or not you take the rank down. With the forced rank down, that is a significantly lower number you have to reach in the ELO pool to get forced down. But the reason we implemented the forced rank down this season, because we were finding that it wasn't it was causing competitive integrity issues if there's people who were really far down the ELO pool, but they refused to take the option of taking the rank down, and it was clear that they did not belong in the rank league they were playing in, and it was causing major issues for everybody else playing in that league.
I see.
Gotcha.
I see.
So basically what you're saying is that the player was at a skill level that was actually holding back other players from gaining ELO or being at an accurate level. So they kind of, everybody that they played with, they kind of brought them down, and it kind of skewed the whole thing across the board, right?
Well, it kind of works both ways. So let's say one player plays against someone that shouldn't necessarily be in the league but isn't taking the rank down. Then while that person, they might not be going down a lot, they're still going to be going down, and the other players that are beating them, again, they aren't going to go up a lot, but they still are going to be going up. So they keep playing them. Let's say that they're super active in scrims, then that could lead to someone ranking out much earlier than they should have.
Gotcha. Okay, so that makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. And like I said, this hasn't really been covered like publicly on record, except in announcements and the FAQ channel. And I believe that Maple did a town hall like a year ago, maybe, because I went to it when I first joined the league. So it's good to be bringing all that. So, what are some of the benefits of ELO that MMR can't provide?
You said that ELO can provide, but MMR can't?
Yeah, what is the benefit of having ELO over MMR? Like what is something that ELO contributes that is more accurate that MMR skips over?
So you may have seen B++ has a nice graph he's posted before and like help desk and things like that. Basically saying like this team, if they have a higher MMR in rank than this other team, this is the chance they would have won this matchup. And he kind of goes through different stats like that. So ELO overall, is more accurately, can tell you which team is going to win than ranked MMR. Do you have anything else to add for that, Kunix? Why ELO?
Another way to think, so like the Psyonix's MMR system is a much more basic of what our ELO system is, because with the ranked MMR, it doesn't pay attention to how well each person played. It's just, if you win on this team, then you'll gain, I think like the average, like you gain like 8 MMR, or you lose 8 MMR. It has nothing to do with necessarily who you're playing against or how well you played, where our ELO system considers all those different factors into it. So pretty much in almost every single level, ELO, in my opinion, but I'm a little biased since I've worked with the ELO team for a long time, ELO is much better than ranked MMR. I'll say that maybe the one benefit ranked MMR has is many more people sometimes just prefer playing ranked than playing some scrims.
Yep. I would also say the advantage before when we had ranked MMR was somebody could know how far they are from hitting that next league. Where now you're 12-5, you're trying to get up to CL. There's you're still like a little unsure. Like, did I do enough this week? Am I going to rank out on Monday? Where if you're playing ranked, oh, I hit this certain MMR, this certain rank, I know I'm ranking up now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
So one thing that I'm curious about is as the state of the league and as the state of everything kind of moves and evolves, are there any improvements that you guys would like to see yourselves make towards ELO? Have there been any suggestions that you've heard from people that could help make ELO better other than just, hey, let me rank up faster? Just like any general improvements that you guys could see that you guys would like to see come to the ELO system?
Phoenix, you want to answer?
Yeah, I can take this. So the ELO team is kind of always looking at stuff we can improve. And a lot of the stuff we want to improve, we kind of have to wait, just because of the dev team limitations. So like there's some stuff the ELO team has in mind, like we want to have plans for doing, but we can't implement it for like 2 or 3 seasons. So one thing we talked about, I kind of brought up the last off season, is I felt that the top and bottom ends of different leagues were overlapping and not at like a cutoff point. So let's take like CL and ML. I felt with last season 14-5 being the top of CL and 15 being bottom of ML last season, I felt that the majority, if not all 14-5s, were better than all the 15s in ML. And to me, that just doesn't make any sense. If you're a higher salary, you should be a better player. So the ELO team has been taking steps since I brought that issue up, and there's been a few other things that I've mentioned to them that I'm not going to bring up here. And we've made a lot of changes for this season that I think are really are helping with that change. But then there's also some other stuff that we can't implement or can't start working on until Sprocket gets released a little bit more later on.
Right. So is Sprocket working with the ELO team, and you guys are going to be using a similar system or the same system with the Sprocket bot with improvements, or are you starting the criteria, or not criteria? We'll use the formula from scratch.
So the ELO team is already isn't that like a sub team of the Sprocket team, more of the data science, and even within the data science, the ELO team is a smaller group of people. That's within them, just because we're trying to keep all the confidential stuff in regards to ELO to a small team as possible. But so the reason we have to wait for Sprocket is that pretty much all the people who are working on the dev side of Sprocket is we have to wait because all their resources are pretty much in. Let's try to get Sprocket out. Let's work on getting this out as soon as possible. So all their resources have been with getting Sprocket, getting ready to release, and then getting ready for all the different versions of it to have fully up and running. And then once that's done, then the ELO team will be able to take advantage of the different resources that the dev team provides, because they do a lot of work. So we kind of just need to wait for them to finish their current project before they can help us make ELO even better than it is now.
Gotcha.
And in terms of the formula, I'm not going to really touch much on that, but that's not really going to, as of right now, it's not going to change much.
Yeah.
When it transitions over to Sprocket.
Yeah, so we're really not changing how fast you're going to rank up or rank down. We're not going to change how fast or how much anything impacts anything. We're really just switching platforms from point A to point B and how it's presented and how it actually functions within the league.
Exactly. Get away from the Discord bot.
Ugh, Amelia.
Understandable.
It's Amelia.
Hard breakup though, honestly. Gotta love Amelia forever.
I mean, it's for the best. It's an uncontested divorce. Okay. We're moving on. We're moving on to bigger and better lives. Sometimes you just grow apart and you can't help it. Your lives are going different directions. Amelia is going to go on to collect dust, and Sprocket's going to be the new model that we found down at the car dealership. So
yeah, sometimes it's just a toxic relationship. Like Amelia would stop listening to me sometimes. I'd be trying to queue in, and I'd be pressing that check mark, just wouldn't work. Just ignore me. You know, it's tough. It's tough.
all right, Flips. You know what time it is?
It's our favorite time.
It's everybody's
every
favorite
Wednesday.
time. Every Wednesday, the one, the only. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for this week's Play of the Week. I'm going to be honest, Flips, I'm going to let you take it because I didn't watch the clips. So
Oh my
No
days.
problem at all. So luckily, we're all going to watch the clips again together. Number one. Number two, I would also like to mention that this is sponsored by Balls Garada. So thank you, Balls Garada, for this sponsorship. Now let's get right into it. So we have a few clips. I believe we have about 5 clips here that we're going to be showing. And these 5 clips are coming from this past week, some amazing plays that I saw previously when I was taking a gander at them. And I'm really excited for them all to be showed here.
all right, so without further ado, Isaiah, our lovely, most favoritist broadcaster, can you play us the first clip?
This is the longest OT we've had, or 0-second period even, and it's still a chance for the Sharks. They'll tee it up again. Gala's there for the read, off the backboard. Xavi puts it to Gala! What a goal to wrap up the series!
I'm just saying this. I was on the edge of my seat that whole time because, like, everyone on that field was able to keep that ball up, which is insanely respectable.
Yeah, this is the longest OT we've had, or 0-second period even, and it's still a chance for the Sharks. They'll tee it up again. Gala's there for the read, off the backboard. Xavi puts it to Gala!
To main screen now.
What a goal!
There
All
we go.
right. You want to
Let me
talk
go- there
about
we
an
go.
absolute read from Gala. This man, like, if you looked, when the ball bounced off the corner, he was already in the air, which means he jumped at least 2 or 2.5 seconds earlier than he need to. He jumped for that ball yesterday. He loaded into Rocket League, got into free play, jumped, got off, rejoined the series, and then finished his aerial and put that in a stream match. Like, that's just absolutely wild to me. So props to Gala for that. Isaiah, when you're ready, clip number 2.
Yes, please.
Not getting anything out of it. It just feels like, the Lightning are just being too one-man army, or too much of a one-man army, in the sense that it just feels like MSC is just having to do everything, and that just won't work against a team like the Blizzard, who have had a good 2-man defense. As I say that, RWB makes it 4 with a great read.
Oh, and we haven't seen those types of shots. We haven't seen those types of solo plays come out this game. It was just the first mistake that RWB gonna take in his own hands. And
I really, really liked this clip here because you can tell after a bit of shuffling around in the game, there's a bit of 50s, a bit of fun stuff going off. You could tell that RWB had his eyes set on what he was doing very, very quickly. After he saw that ball going up the wall, he's like, oh yeah, this is what I do free play all the time for. And he went there and he did it.
Crispy really showed up and was like, this is my moment. I'm in a familiar. It's when all that comes together and you're like, oh, I know how to do this. And then you do it and you're like, oh, that looked cool. And you did it in front of 100 people. So props to that.
Yeah, that's one thing that I love about RWB is that he's just kind of always had that sight line. It's just there's a point with certain, he's one of those Rocket League players where you develop that sight line where you can see what's happening. You know what you want to do, but then actually making it happen is a totally different thing. And he's now starting to kind of blossom into that point where he's able to actually follow through with that. And that's kind of one of the biggest transitions I've noticed between going between AL, CL, and ML is how that skill kind of develops. So that was really, really cool to finally be able to see him up on Plays of the Week for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good job, RWB. And let's see the third clip.
Likes to go back to his own net. Has to go up for a shadow save. Pun intended. And here comes Cheese Sandwich getting a touchdown. Goes for a flip. Oh my goodness gracious me. How? The recovery that this man had to get to the flip reset, to get it over P2K. Somebody clip it, because we're going to watch it again on Wednesday.
I mean, that's how you put an exclamation point on this series. I mean, I hope all the
Alex to go back to his own net, has to go up for a shadow save. I love this. I actually was the one casting this game if you couldn't recognize my voice. But I got to ask, Oddfellow, were you there when Cheese Sandwich hit a flip reset on P2K?
I was not, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure where I was, but I wasn't there. However, I do want to point out, if you watch that, there's a point where he has to, like, he gets the reset and then has to physically turn himself all the way around to get the second one and then get the shot. That is a different level of car control that, like, that's a point where, like, I try and do that and the ball's here and my car goes off into Never Land somewhere over there. And like, people talk about insane recoveries and all this all the time. Like, I'm sure everyone's seen, beast mode recovery off the corner and all these other RLCS players recovering, that kind of thing. Seeing it in MLE and seeing that exact thing, that's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. That I bet if you asked him to do that again, it'd probably take him about 100 tries before he did it again. But then he'd be able to do it more consistently, But either way, like, that is just an incredible, like, because that's not even just about the flip reset. It's about the car control and the aerial car control to be able to recover and get back into the reset and still be on target. So there's so much more that goes into that other than just the basic flip reset mechanics of that shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Given that, let's go into video number 4.
High flying goals going. Breakup passes it down. Shiru turns. Can he get it up and over? He does get it up and over. Bearded can't get the demo. Is going for the double, and he sinks it in. Shiru with the lead opening goal. Back up by 1. 2:10 left. What do you think about that, War Rat?
That is not what you want to see coming out for the Knights, the Jets. Once they start flying, it's all engines aboard. These guys know how to handle the air.
I mean, it's a clean double. I mean, it's a really good clean double. Gives you the lead back, which that's always what you're wanting to do, right? You're always wanting to get that cushion goal, and it's always nice when you're able to do that with a little bit of pizzazz. Like there was a point back in Rocket League history where the double tap off the backboard was like the be all end all for mechanics, and now it's kind of slipped under the rug a little bit. It's still extremely useful because it forces the defensive players to make a choice. It's like, okay, is he actually going to hit this double tap? And so do I want to defend the double tap itself, or do I want to defend this off the backboard? Usually the answer is just going off the backboard, but if you have an open backboard and you can go for it, by all means. And so it doesn't matter what league you're in between FL, AL, ML, CL, PL, none of that. If you can do a clean double tap, that is something you absolutely should have in your repertoire. So that was a very, very clean goal there from Shiro.
Yeah, that was a huge momentum, whatever, they spelled it wrong earlier. I was trying to make a meme out of it. Momentarium, that's what it was. That was a huge momentarium gaining play there from Shiro. And in Flips, do we have a number 5?
We do have a clip number 5, so let's move right on into that one as well.
The back guy, which I think is Haku, just has to cheat up and kind of hope it goes okay. I like that. That was a good decision, the forward up cheat.
Oh, it is!
Oh my god!
We're gonna go to overtime.
Okay, Caster's curse in peak form, I guess. The own goal coming out from 6. Oh my, okay.
What are you gonna even say about that?
So what I'm gonna say here is 60. I love you, but my guy. What are you doing?
For me, it's the circumstances, right? Mm-hmm. The Spartans are down 3-0 or 3-0 in a series, right? And they're down a goal going in game 4. And they luckily, like, it wasn't fantastic. It wasn't it wasn't like Cheese Sandwich where he flip reset over P2K to get the goal to put them ahead. It was more of the circumstances where that was a turning point for the Spartans to get that series back. They went on to win that game and the next one, by the way, in case you watched it. But if you want to watch a really good series, the Spartans Express AL doubles, all of the matches that night. I watched the entire stream all the way through. All of the matches those nights were great. But the circumstances, that was the turning point for the Spartans where they actually gained momentum and then just started to dismantle the Express from their point.
Yeah, that was incredible. Just, I got to just give a quick shout out. Taking that risk of faking the ball with even less than 5 seconds, faking the ball like that is such a risk. I don't even think I would have the a million IQ, dumb high IQ to even think about that. That's just incredible. So as we talk and have the poll about player of the week, I would like to give a huge shout out to everyone in MLE who went to Worlds during our week 3. Here we are going to show a photo of everyone that went to Worlds. Thank you all for going. We love seeing the support. It was incredible. Unfortunately, I didn't make it, but I saw a bunch of videos, saw a bunch of people having the experience. I wish I made it so I could meet anyone. Oddfellow and Fresh, did you guys happen to make it?
I did not. I was planning on it, and I couldn't get the week off of work because I work retail and I have blackout dates. So I could not get into Worlds, but I very much missed seeing everybody there. I saw tons and tons of pictures. There's a lot more than this on the website. So props to everybody that did make it. This is what MLE is about, right? Everybody coming together around one common interest and hobby that is Rocket League. Because Rocket League, for most of us, for a lot of us, is more than just a goofy arcade game. It is a passion that we love. We have players that teach other players. We have players that learn from other players. And then you have our league players that all, what was there, 40 people in that photo? 40 of you got together in one place, United States, from all over the United States and EU. I know there were a couple EU players there, but everybody came from all over the world down to one spot to watch the World Championship Series. So props to all of you that made it, and thank you for making MLE the community that it is.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I did get a chance to go. It was a really, really awesome experience. If anybody who hasn't had a chance to get to a LAN somehow is able to figure out a way to go to one at some point in your life, it's definitely an experience that it's really kind of hard to put into words, kind of being in that environment and being in that setting. I know that one of the most awkward moments for me from Worlds is actually, if anybody is in the Discord and looks at my Discord profile picture, I got a picture with Reddles on Sunday. My words to him right before that picture were, hey man, sorry that you guys, lost out and that kind of thing. You guys had a really good run. I'm sure you guys will come back stronger next season.
That aged well.
It aged like fine milk. Because it's really funny because if you look at my profile picture, he's just got this kind of defeated look on his face.
Oh no!
I felt awful about it afterwards. I felt so bad after the fact. But one of the coolest moments for me was that I managed to get an autograph from, I don't know if that comes through very well with the lighting, probably not. On the controller right there from from Roll Diz. And the reason that's cool for me is, for those who may not know, I'm in the Army National Guard. And for the first 3 years of my time in service, I was actually in the exact same unit as Rolled is before he kind of popped off. So Worlds was my first time seeing him in person in 4 years, basically since he became famous, I guess. And so that was something really cool. But just being able to meet everybody and just kind of mingle and talk, and getting to meet so many different people from so many different walks of life. Going to a LAN or going into any major event like that, for esports or gaming or otherwise, definitely try and do it at some point in your life. It's always going to be more fun if you go with a group of friends or you have a group of friends that are going. But yeah, definitely that's a bucket list thing. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to go to one again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for telling us about that. That's awesome, Oddfellow, that you were in their unit, that you were in his unit. That's, the coincidence, as well as just, it's awesome to see that. Right?
Yeah.
He was your buddy and now he's doing great. You got to support.
What's funny about it is actually the year that he won DreamHack with the peeps and they all kind of popped off and did their thing. Our unit was actually deployed in Europe. and he, for reasons that I can't even remember, and I don't know how much I can get into on it, was not able to go on that deployment. So he was actually able to stay back and grind through and absolutely push through on this Rocket League dream that he had, and by God, he made it work. So it just really shows that, you know, you put enough time and effort and dedication into something, and you'll get where you're wanting to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. And given that, I would like to say congratulations, Gala, for winning Player of the Week. Within the next 24, 48 hours, you will be contacted about getting your bottles of Balls Guarana. Gotta love the crispiness.
Balls.
Balls. Honestly, best energy drink.
We are grown men on a podcast about car soccer. We don't need to make balls jokes.
We do.
We're talking about Balls Guarana.
We are contractually obligated to make balls jokes.
We really are. It actually says it in the contract right here under Article A, B 72. It says that we have to.
All right.
Oddfellow, if you turn over here to the Bible of I don't GAF, okay?
That was close. That was a close call, Fresh.
I almost said it, but I didn't,
Right.
which we're good. We're still PG, kind of.
Sloppy Boy wants a shout out, so you're welcome, Sloppy Boy. You asked Fresh, but I'm here because
Sloppy, go spend some time in free play, my boy. Anyways, there's your shout out.
Alrighty. Yes, I was about to do that. Alrighty, thank you everyone for coming out and watching our Open Net number 5. It was amazing, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys later.